Change. It is said to be the one constant in the universe. It's the one thing that in your lifetime you are assured is definitely going to change. So it turns out to be the one thing that you can actually predict. So why do we fear it? Why does it unnerve us, make us uncomfortable? Today I'll be sharing with you how embracing change has affected my work as an artist and educator who uses art, sculptures, and performance in places of learning, museums. So what exactly is a museum? If you do a quick search, you're going to find out, or the first thing that will appear, that it's an institution, it's a building, it's a place where artifacts of historic significance are stored and used each. It could be scientific, it could be cultural, violent. Yet, these places of learning are not always inviting to some of us as Africans. They are a bit intimidating to the ordinary African on the street. Growing up in Medina, Malam, and basically on the streets of Accra, there are unspoken rules. In fact, there are rules, some spoken, some unspoken, about places that you could go, places that you can easily enter, places that are welcome to you if you are not elite, if you are not of the upper class. And the basic rule is, if it is nice, if it is bright, if it is fancy, you don't enter, because you can't afford whatever is being given in there. And let's say you don't get the lesson right, and you are not able to identify the entrance as where you can't enter, where you are not part of, and you open the door, and you are hit in the face by some cool breeze air conditioning. You hold your breath, close the door, and you immediately get up because you know you are breathing rich people air. You can't afford to be in this space. And by the way, once you're at, you make sure you don't take in extra air, just in case they come in and they charge you for the air conditioning that you breathe. So the very spaces that is supposed to encourage us, teach us to break the mold, foster change, educate us, become intimidating to us. And if by some any chance you have the currency for entering spaces, the currency being you're rich, you can speak impeccable English, or you follow one who has the currency, an African who is educated in the ways of the West, who can speak his way into these spaces. Then maybe you can, for one time, exist in this space, but it is not yours. You can contribute to the space. And when you do enter, you find this nice African art show, an African museum on the continent, in your own country. You have a beautiful curatorial statement in English. And in my experience, I had a master's degree, and I'll go to these shows. I'll look at the curatorial statement, and I start doubting myself if, I'm educated enough. The words are so big. It's for the highest apex echelon of academia. It doesn't make sense to you. These and more are some of the questions, some of the intimidations I felt as an African when I was growing up, and the change that I wanted. So I went to school. I got educated. I came out, still feeling some way not so welcome in the space. I found my art. I will make spaces. I will make faces. Faces that are paying homage to the memory of enslaved Africans. Faces that will start a dialogue about what we have inherited, all the negativity that we've inherited. Faces that will let us confront our colonial bottlenecks. And then maybe I will be allowed into these spaces. I will foster a healing for all of us who feel intimidated by spaces that have glass, lounge tiles on the floor, and rich people air. So it came through. Now on CNN, BBC, BBC2, CBS, I'm filming with Samuel L. Jackson. Then it comes to me. Have I made it? Have I now made it into the step when and where I can speak rich people language? And what am I saying in the process? It dawned on me that in my quest to vent, to speak for our people, I had become like the African version of Napoleon in the Animal Farm. So before you enter these spaces, before you prepare yourself for the platform to be heard, for your voice to be heard, the very process changes you. You also become elite. Now I can speak. I can use words like paradigm shift, narrative, evolution. And everybody in here, breathing, rich people air, can understand me. So congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you have also made it. You are breathing rich people air. You technically qualify as elite. But when I cast my mind back to what moved me to try and foster this change, I had become one of the very people that I sought to speak against. I needed to evolve. I needed to change. I needed to give people the opportunity to also vent their frustrations. Because art and the language that I use is for specific trained people, people with talent, people who can look at you and create exact replicas. That is not a talent that an ordinary person has. So what do? I came up with the idea that sculptures, no matter what is told, no matter how people think it should be, can also be interactive. In 2019, I came up with the idea plate monument. It's a sculpture that has an interactive section. You can log on to the placard as you see, and then you can change what it says. It allows people to also vent, share their thoughts, share their frustrations, and move together with the sculptures into spaces that they would have ordinarily been intimidated by. it was one step towards making a change. So in 2019, we opened this. The African American Association of Ghana, Caribbean Associations, people from all walks of academic life, researchers, people who were at the very pinnacle of their research and academia, and people who have never even been to school. And as they started to write and vent their frustrations, I realized even this is not enough. Because what about the people who can't write English? What about the people who cannot use phone text or don't even have phones? So my work changed again. As a change maker, you need to change. And this time, it took on a new element. The human body itself. This is the vehicle of language of our ancestors. Sometimes it's not words. Sometimes our people have something to say. And what they have to express, it's not articulate English. It's not English that you regard. It is not the language of the colonial master. But they also have something to say. I found out that I am not the only one who needed to heal. Growing up, using trotro, being intimidated by boutiques that had glass, being afraid to pick a taxi, seeing something that I like, but couldn't afford to even ask the price because I know I will never be able to pay. It's not a unique experience to me. It is our experience of as people who live in a country that have inherited systems that are a result of the legacies of transatlantic slave trade and colonialism. So there is one more thing that my work had to do. Open up and let it be free. Let it teach and let the community teach me what their language of freedom is. So this December, we launched one more project at NKYINKYIM Museum. We launched the Freedom Parade, and we opened up, allow people to use their very bodies, the rhythm of the drums, the rhythm of their own heartbeats, the stomping of their feet, the smell in their air, to inspire them, to encourage them, to remind them. Because in this one moment, you are tapping between the energies of your ancestors and you are reaching out into the future of what it means to finally break free, finally change, finally be a vehicle for fostering change without becoming the very obstacle that you set out to overcome. So as change makers who have something to say, as change makers who want to make a difference, I'm just here to remind you of what I have gone through and what you may be going through, what is possible that you will go through. Remember not to become the very thing that you are setting out to change. Thank you.